If you want to learn how to make a super eco-friendly and sustainable wax melt using coconut wax, then stay tuned because I'll show you how to do just that. Hey guys, it's Lee Marie and I show you how to. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how I make my wax melts, and I do so using virgin coconut soy wax. A very similar cousin to EC26, which is a coconut blend or coconut soy wax. Now I love using this wax in particular because it is bright white, it gives smooth tops, it's very, very user-friendly, especially for beginners, and overall the quality is just really, really high. So I love to use it. But since it is a coconut waxes tend to like being poured hot. We're talking 180 to 190 degrees. Therefore, using any kind of plastic clamshell is not going to work. It will melt. And so I have come up with a great way of making individual wax melts that you can sell. They look gorgeous. They make great gift with purchase. They're great as samples, and they're great even for just your customers to purchase as well. And you can do little sampler packs of them. They're totally cute. So stay tuned. So these are my wax melts. As you can see, they are individual, which means each one has its own little 2-ounce tin. They all have their own label and everything, and these are those little screw tins. And I will have a link for these tins in the description. You can give them out as samples. You can give them to prospective wholesale clients so that they can smell and test out fragrances. And like I said, I've got all 7 of my fragrances available, and each one has its own label and its own tin. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I wanted a sustainable alternative to traditional wax melts. So here's what I did. I'm using sustainable coconut soy blended wax with my fragrances that are, of course, phthalate and paraben free. All of the products that I use are vegan and cruelty free as well. And now we get on to the plastic free portion of our packaging. Obviously, we have a metal tin. And then the next thing we have, we're going to wrap our wax melt. Once we pop it out of our mold, we're going to wrap it in recycled tissue paper, preferably branded, but not necessary. And then we're going to be using a silicone mold. Now, the great thing about this is, yes, it is silicone, but you're reusing it often, many, many times. It's not a one-use product. So what I love to use is these molds. Now, these specific molds come from Amazon. They have this adorable, if you can see that, they have this adorable little bee on them, and I got them because they are the perfect size for this tin, and I'm going to show you how it all comes together. But when you're gathering your supplies for what you need to make these specific wax melts, you're going to need a silicone mold. Make sure you're paying attention to the dimensions of the cavity because you need to make sure that it is the right size for your tin. Now again, I'm going to leave a link below to all of these products, so if you want to do it exactly the way I do, no worries, that's what I'm here for. You're going to need to buy your tins. You're going to need either tissue paper or wax paper. Any kind will do. Recycled is preferable. And then of course you're going to need your wax and your fragrance that you've chosen. Once you have all that, come on back, I'll show you how we do it. First thing you're going to do, you're going to take your rubber molds, your silicone molds, and you are going to lay them out. I like to do 1 fragrance per mold. So we have 3 molds and we're going to do 3 fragrances. This is coconut soy wax. So on my Digiboil right now, it is at 195 degrees. Then by the time I put it in the container and stir it, it'll drop down between 180 and 190, which is exactly where coconut soy waxes like to be poured. So I am using a Digiboil. I have quite a few of them. If you have any questions regarding the Digiboils or want to see a video on those, I'm happy to do those as well. This is the the progress at about 10 minutes, so as you can see, it is a very quick process. These are my labels, and as you can see, they have all the required information. My logo is on there, the name of the wax, where it was made, the ounces and grams are on there as well. If you would like the information for the company that I used for my labels, I will have that down in the description below. Okay, so now that we have poured our wax into the molds and we're waiting for them to solidify, and we've already discussed the labels and everything that you need to put on your label, one last thing is I also just put my warning label for my candles at the bottom of the wax label tin, just for an extra added little peace of mind, and also it has our website and our address on it should the customer ever need that. The next thing you need to do is get some tissue paper. Now what I do is, this piece of tissue paper is obviously very big, so I cut this into thirds. So we're gonna be cutting like right there and right there, and you're gonna have 3 long pieces of tissue paper. So it's been about 1 hour and our beautiful wax melts are completely dry. So we can take them out of the mold, then we're going to wrap them in the tissue and put them in the tins. Let me show you how. The first thing I like to do is I like to put my labels directly on the tin before I start any of the process. That way I know exactly how many of each ones I've got. They're all labeled and ready to go, because to get them out of the molds, I am going to need to use my gloves, and so I don't want to get any wax or anything on my labels. So I'm just going to put the label directly on the top, and as you can see, it fits perfectly because I have already measured out the label and the top of the tin. So that's really important, is if you want everything to look precise, look really perfect, it's important that you measure things out, because then that way you'll get a really aesthetically pleasing final product. Okay, so once I'm done getting all of these labeled, then we'll go ahead and pop our wax out of the molds and roll it up in our tissue paper. As I mentioned before, I use coconut soy because it dries this beautiful bright white color. And like I said, it's been about 1 hour, and we're going to go ahead and pop these out. And look at how nicely they pop out. And you can see it perfectly. It's not, the wax itself, it's not soft, it's not mushy. So you can definitely use this wax for wax melts. If anybody told you different, they didn't know what they were talking about, you can definitely use this wax for wax melts. Okay, so I've got my tissue paper that we cut earlier. Now make sure that it is with the label facing down. So we want your logo or picture, whatever it is, the words to be facing down. So right here you can see they're backwards, because we're going to be wrapping it. This is going to be the inside of what we're wrapping. And then I have my tin that is already labeled, and it is ready to go on the side. So we're just taking our beautiful wax melt, putting it on here. I don't start all the way at the bottom. I start maybe a little bit, like 4 or 5 inches up, and then I start rolling. And you should be able to roll it perfectly. So there is the logo. So then the logo is sitting on top. You tuck underneath, and now it's going to fit perfectly in here. Look at that. Then we're going to put our lid on. And your wax melts are all done. How easy was that? I hope you enjoyed today's video and learned a super easy, sustainable, and plastic-free way to make beautiful, attractive, and luxurious wax melts using your coconut soy wax. If you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, please do hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. We want our channel to grow as much as possible so we can continue bringing you this amazing free content. If you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to comment them down below. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.